name's Owen, and I'm the Dungeon Master of our Return of the Giants 5th edition homebrew campaign.
Hi, I'm Ali. I'm playing Lyra, the Eladrin Spore Druid, and she is just a little bit obsessed with mushrooms.
Hi, my name's Simon. I'm playing the character of Ember. I'm a wildfire druid who's on a quest to be the very best there ever was.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I play Harry Harrington, the Harrengon, the roguish merchant with the heart of gold.
My name is Christian. I'm playing Bartholomew, the romantic dancing Owlin, Paladin of devotion.
Hi, my name is Matt, and I'll be playing Niles Silverwind, the Owlin, Way of the Sympathy Monk.
Hey guys, I'm Jared. I play the character of Threign, the boisterous frost giant, the Goliath, path of the giant Barbarian.
Hello there, lovely listener. This is just a warning to let you know that this episode of Return of the Giants may contain adult language or adult themes. Hello! Welcome, everybody. It is wonderful to see all of your gorgeous faces once again. Welcome back to the Lost Archives. We are playing Return of the Giants, the premier homebrew 5th edition campaign that we are really, I would say, neck deep in at the moment with where we're up to. We have been delving deep into the Underdark, the dangerous caverns below the world of Nostea, and rejoining us, we have the missing party member, but persistent character, Jared. He is back.
Hello, everyone.
You will hear his dulcet tones. You won't see his gorgeous face just yet tonight. His camera is non-functional for this session, but hopefully we'll be back up and running for Curse of Strahd next week. But you will hear his gorgeous, lovely tones and the sexy voice of Threign once more. A voice which I feel like I can approximate,
Sexy.
but not replace.
I don't know if I'd use that, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Threign is sexy as the voice there is.
It's not too bad, Bushkin.
It's not too bad. I genuinely had a little soundbite on the stream deck. So every time I had to do Threign's voice, I'd just hear you say, "I'm not apologize," and that was the key word for me.
Awesome, I appreciate that. Thanks, Owen. Happy to take the reins back of Threign.
Happy to give them back. I always prefer when player characters played by players rather than the DM. So we are all back. The only fun announcements I have for behind the scenes. What is this? Got your poison shurikens. I can see Matt's been looking through his character sheet.
No, I'm just testing. Just testing.
It's working.
It's actually letting you roll to roll 20 now.
What was that? Sorry.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't been able to roll 20 for a couple of weeks now.
I have roll 20 on a different machine at the moment. I'm trying to.
It does seem to be working.
It's not rolling the actual attacks though, which it should be. But anyway, that's fine.
That's all right. We'll get it up and running. What was I saying? The fun news behind the scenes. The only fun news I have to share is that the playthrough of Disco Elysium is now up on YouTube, and episodes will be dropping weekly. For those of you who aren't aware, Disco Elysium is probably the greatest RPG of all time that you can play on the computer. I know that's a massive call, but I'm going to stand by it. I'm standing by it. It is, I mean, for those of you who aren't aware, you play as a amnesiac cop whose psyche has split into these personified versions of your own mind that essentially your empathy, your ability to reason, your logic, they've all become these separate entities which speak to you in character and have goals and desires of their own, and that's your skills. And so the more skills you put into logic, for example, the better you are able to tease out logical puzzles. The more skills you put into shivers, which is kind of like the hairs on the back of your neck rising to let you know when there's danger, the more things you get in from that. But I mean, the skills also have downsides, for example. So electrochemistry always wants you to take drugs because electrochemistry only cares about feeling good. So it's this incredible experience. It is madness. It is one of the most interesting worlds I've ever played in for a game. It's such an incredible bit of world building that's been put into making this. And we will never get a follow-up game because the creator and the studio had an incredible falling out that they will never get past, I would say, based on what we've seen. So it's this isolated, single, beautiful gem that will always remain by itself and perfect alone. I really recommend it. If you haven't played Disco Elysium, at least come and check out the videos. You'll really, really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's almost more fun to fail checks than it is to pass them, because when you fail a check, it's like failing a persuasion check, for example. For example, early on, there's a person you bump into and you're quite hungover at this point. You're sort of like, there's an option where you can try to sort of do a bit of a sexy look at them. And if you fuck it up, instead of doing the sexy look, you just say, I want to have fuck with you. And that's the punishment for getting the fail, for failing that check. It's incredible. And everyone kind of reacts very, very, all the NPCs react appropriately to it. It's a lot of fun. So if you haven't had a chance to play the game, I do recommend watching the playthrough that I'm doing. It's a lot of fun. Otherwise, I would recommend strongly people getting the game. It is loads of fun to play. That's the only fun announcement.
Wish list, they get on sales on Steam all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And the final cut, which is the fully voiced one, the voice actor who does the narration, oh my god, it's smooth as butter is his voice. It is this rich, deep, bassy tone. It is gorgeous. I could listen to it all day.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. That's the only fun announcement I had behind the scenes for getting up and running. Any other fun things before we jump into D&D? No? Cool.
Good.
Sweet. Oh, I did have one other fun thing. We had a koala climbing up our fence today and into a tree in my backyard. So I posted a picture of that in the Discord because my dogs were making friends with that koala, which could have gone really badly. But
wow. I'm glad that your dogs were friendly.
Chill about it. Yeah, like because they were sniffing along the fence line and I was like, oh, there must be something's going on there. I don't know what it is. And then the next thing I see, this koala pulls his head up over the fence and looks down at the dogs, and the dogs like looking up, wagging their tails, just having the best time. And he sort of looks at them for a bit, climbs onto the fence, sort of goes to lower himself a little bit. The dogs start jumping up on the fence. He's like, no, I'm not going to go there. Slowly climbs up a tree that's against the fence and then just chills like 2 meters away, just looking down at the dogs, just sort of watching them, having a good time. It's really funny.
Wow.
Just didn't expect a koala in there. It's just Aussie things, right? Well, we've all been there. We all have that happen all the time. I certainly didn't get really, really excited and take loads of photos and like Alice, quick, there's a koala in the backyard. Mum, look. Quickly text my mum pictures of the koala. I certainly didn't do that. Also, that's my, I just thought that'd be a fun little aside. Let me do our recap. Let us jump into the session. Now, Jared, quick question for you that I probably should have asked a little bit earlier. How up to date are you with the stream?
I haven't been able to keep up, unfortunately.
No dramas. I have 2 versions of the recap tonight. One was for you've kept up. One was for you haven't kept up. We're going to do the one for you haven't kept up, the slightly more involved one. Gizmo's seen a koala. Awesome. Quick, Simon, you better go check on that.
I know, right? I'll go run.
Appreciate it. I want to appreciate that.
Great. All G. And we'll also be jumping in quickly with Threign with what he did briefly in the time away. So let us do our recap. Let us jump into the session. The Tempest Adventuring Guild, a name now legendary across the lands of Nostea, has formed a brand new team. Lyra, Niles, Harry, Ember, Threign, and newcomer Bartholomew are exploring the vast caverns of the Underdark. Drawn below by rumours of stone giants taking over territory, it has come to light that the Duergar are providing the stone giants with slaves as part of a massive mining operation. After running afoul of some drow assassins, following their decision to help Zaylin, a renegade Lothsworn drow, the team found themselves separated from their companion Harry, taken prisoner by the Shadowblades. With the knowledge the drow were headed for a campsite near the Society of Brilliance Tower, the team began their journey, stopping only briefly to escort the gnomes to Blindenstone, learning a massive draconic monstrosity called a Behir had taken up residence, the city now completely abandoned. Arriving at the meetup point, the team were met with the sight of Harry unleashing eldritch magic to free himself, but also alerting the drow assassins. Fighting for their lives, the now reunited group faced off against the Shadowblades and emerged battered but victorious. With one drow left alive as prisoner, a male drow called Zerum, the team took a brief opportunity to rest, Harry having sustained a pretty brutal injury during the fight. Knowing that Harry wasn't in the right shape to face off against the Behir in Blindenstone, the team decided to make a stopover at the Brilliant Tower, the base of operations for the Society of Brilliance in the Underdark. Playing it safe, initially only Niles and Bart approached, passing through the front gates and entering a large garden full of Underdark flora. Welcomed to the tower by a voice speaking directly into their minds, the duo were met by Mind Flayer Albus, Bugbear Historian Tetarch, and Changeling Botanist Sylvie. Harry accompanied Sylvie to an upper floor for some healing, while Ember stayed outside with Zerum to investigate the garden. With Ember's keen eyes, he soon found what he had been searching for, a Susa tree sprout growing in the outer sections of the garden. Knowing its powerful ability to nullify magic, Ember took a small cutting, tucking it away for later. Inside, Lyra and Niles spent some time with Tetarch, showing him the fragments of the mural they had taken from the Kuatoa cavern. During this conversation, they learned a little more about the current situation in the Underdark and how the stone giants are currently operating in the lower caverns. Meanwhile, Bart decided to have another go at chatting with Mind Flayer Albus, hoping to find some information in his library and learn a bit more about the Illithids. While Bart did get some insights into Mind Flayer history, he learned a much more horrifying secret, the truth of the Aarakocra and Owlin's arrival in Nostea and their troubled past in the elemental plane of air. Upstairs, Sylvie had begun attempting to heal Harry, feeding him a concoction of herbs and mushrooms, which triggered his heartstone, causing it to pulse with power. As Niles and Bart headed upstairs to check on Harry, they discovered a rather disturbing change. Part of Harry's hand has now been replaced with metal, which looks to have grown outwards from the heartstone. Slightly concerned about this new development, Niles and Bart questioned Harry about his new powers and his odd heartstone. Harry, despite initially giving away very little, finally opened up and shared some of what he had experienced and the existence of the mind within his gemstone, which is the source of his new powers, a being called Figment. Sylvie took this chance to ghost out of the room, heading down to hang out and bond with Ember over the more dangerous plants in her garden, gifting him some samples of the deadly poisons. With the party now feeling more prepared to take on the Bahir, they bid their new friends at the tower farewell. Zerom, still not fully trusting the party, decided to instead remain behind at the tower, leaving the party with a loose promise to check in with them again in the future. We left off last session as the team rejoined with Threign, who had been busy wiping out the remaining Gricks in the chasm. As the team arrived back at the entryway to the secret gnome railway, they spied Gook waving frantically to them. So, for your benefit, Jared, to explain Threin's absence and not being part of some of the conversations, I decided that Threign would have probably been a bit bored by all of these discussions around the stone tablets. Threign was going to have a discussion about his Frostcarver axe with Tetarch, though. So what I thought we could do, if you're happy to do this now, jump back in time about 2 hours to before Threign takes off to go and wipe out the rest of the Grick, have that conversation with Tetarch, and then jump straight back into the current situation. But I had Threign disappear for 2 hours, go and slaughter a bunch of Grick.
Oh yeah, no, that's more than fun. I'm sure he would have loved that.
I figured Threign would kind of be like, these worms are dangerous. I wipe them out. I'm pest control. No honor here, but service. Maybe honor in service. So.
No, that sounds perfect.
Threign, the last time you were with us, Jared, I think you just pulled out the Frostcarver axe and you were showing it to Tetarch. So we'll jump back in time really briefly.
I was actually very excited about this before all the other shit that happened in my life went down. I was very excited about this conversation. I've
been holding on to these notes for around the Frostcarver axe this whole time, and every week I've copied them into the new page ready to go. So they're here. I'm ready. As you pull out the axe and show it to Tetarch, the bugbear, his brow sort of furrows as he looks down at it and begins sort of looking over the axe.
She's incredible work. The handle has been well carved. I can see the axe itself has been forged from what alloy is this? Oh. Do you mind, Threign, if I have a closer look? Am I allowed to touch this?
Have a look. It's okay.
He very gently, very respectfully takes the axe from you and spins it over in his hands, examining the blade, looking down the length. Sort of where the leather bindings are wrapped around the hilt, he very carefully unpins one of the sections of leather and just looks underneath before pinning it back in place.
This axe is, the handle itself has been replaced. I can see that it's maybe, 40, 50 years old at best, where they've rebound. But this blade, do you have any idea how old this is? I mean, rough estimates without doing a metallurgical assessment, I would put this as hundreds of years old. This is a relic. And yet...
So...
Yeah.
The Threign...
Yeah.
As far as he's aware, it's a family relic.
Oh, this has been handed down. Yeah, the Frostcarver axe is handed down generation to generation.
Is this giant forging? Or
The
would
story,
I not know that? Or
yeah.
do
I mean,
yeah,
you would have been told.
Let's go with what Threign knows.
Yeah, so Threign would believe this is absolutely Giant Forge. The story through the Frostcarver family would have been this is a relic of the giants. This was a gift from the Frost Giants to the Frost Goliaths. This was a sign of friendship between our people. It is our sacred honor and duty to hold this and to bear this as a sign of our allegiance with the Frost Giants. So there's very much Threign would believe it's come from the Frost Giants. Definitely, that would be the story that's handed down with it. 100%.
Cool. So, stories are told about this axe in my village. Kids around the campfire. Everyone, this is a relic of my family and also of my village. It is harkening back to the time of when giants used to roam this world. They do now, of course, but back in the old times.
Yes,
Very ancient.
this gemstone on the handle here, the hilt. I've never seen anything like it. It's almost bonded with the metal of the hilt itself. It's. If you look closer, I need some light.
You watch as he reaches into a drawer, pulls out a fragment of metal with a gemstone in the center, turns this dial on the back, and you watch as the gemstone begins to glow with bright light as he holds it over and begins examining the gemstone.
Look, see here. Can you see there's like wires or like a cage of metal inside, underneath the gemstone, between the gem and the metal of the hilt?
Huh. I'm not sure if I noticed that before. I look at it for a time, but for the most part, I just smack this thing into my enemies, so I don't really see the intricacies.
I bet you never need to sharpen this, though, correct? Or repair it. It doesn't age or wear or damage.
Well, now you'll say that. I will admit that I always have a good look at the blade edge, but you are correct. It's never needed it.
I can see you've kept it well oiled, but I don't think you need to. This is clearly enchanted. Have you ever found magic, either from yourself or from the axe? Maybe some effect with it?
That happens all the time. A very normal thing. Let me show you. And I just infuse. I'll just pop one of my charges.
Yeah.
And I'll infuse the blade, the axe, with the actual frost strike that I do from my background.
There's a pulse of light from the gemstone, a very faint pulse of light, visible now because I think attention's kind of been drawn to it. And you watch as along the hilt, the runes that are carved into it, even underneath the leather, light up. And as it gets to the blade, the air around it grows cold and condensation forms ice. Like this almost like extended version of the blade as ice crystals begin to grow outwards from the axe itself, covering the blade, both the larger foreblade and the smaller back blade in these jagged crystals of ice.
And check this out. I just found that I could do this. I'm not sure if it's me or the axe itself, and I throw it as hard as I can.
Just out the window.
Just out the window. And
Nice.
I imagine his face would just be... Oh, no, watch this. I just found this out very recently. And
That's a priceless artifact. You can't just...
A few seconds, and then, boom, it is back in my hand.
Does it... Yeah, this is the first time you've shown this ability off. How do you want the axe to appear? Do you want it to kind of fly back like God of War?
Yeah,
or do you want it to grow from ice and reform in your hand?
Well, that's the thing. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to almost like... As I'm waiting a few seconds for it to come back, it's almost like you see just this faint shimmer on the air as like this ice sort of gale wind blows in, and then that energy coalesces in my hand. That's how it forms.
Amazing.
Like this, almost like this blizzard sort of like, yeah.
You watch as
Something like that,
Tetak kind of freezes looking down and then absentmindedly brushes some ice crystals that have formed on his fur from standing quite close to you as this axe reforms out of mist and ice in front of him. As he slowly closes his jaw with his hand, pushing it back up, he goes,
Well, that's a powerful relic. The runes that light up when you activate the magic. Do you mind if I transcribe them very quickly, see if we can figure out what they're saying?
by all means, that is more than fine, but it is not maybe in a language you would understand.
That's fair. If I was to get into too much trouble, I do have a mind flayer upstairs who can cast some magic. There's a very handy spell we scholars use when we can't read things.
Okay, no problem. I will be watching, though.
As you activate
I don't
the...
trust the mind flayer yet.
Oh, fair. Yeah, that's fair. As you activate the axe once again, Tetark writes down the runes, takes note, and then goes,
I mean, look, giant, not my area of expertise, I won't lie. I don't speak much of the old tongue, but this one here, the title, I recognize this title. It was a title given to frost giant leaders, Jarl, I believe, would be the conversion to common. And this is a name. These runes here are a name.
It's probably Jarl Ulfriksson. My blood, or his blood, runs through my veins. One of the greatest frost giant leaders that they'd ever seen.
You're a descendant of the frost giants. Forgive me, I always thought that was a story that the Goliaths told themselves to explain their origins.
Well, their blood runs through our veins. We are definitely descended from them, but we are not the same being.
Right,
We're definitely descended from them, at least.
Well, I will see what I can do transcribing the rest of these runes, and if I'm able to get it done before you leave, fantastic. But looking at these, I think this is going to take some time. I'll try and get a message to you later on if I can, if I find anything interesting in these runes. The only thing I would say, this section down here, the axe, this rune here is not a giant, this is a magic rune, this is a sigil. I think it's a sigil of bonding. I don't think anyone else could activate this axe, and the runes around it, if I'm reading these right, again, magic's not really my area of specialty. There are conditions to be able to use the magic of this axe. I think it's remarkable that you fulfill them. If this is a relic of the giants, maybe you do have the blood of this Jarl Ulfric to be able to wield it.
Well, I'm not too sure, to be honest, but all I know is that I'll let you know if I find out any secrets when I am swinging this thing through enemies.
Tell me, this is
I'm going to kill a dragon, by the way. This will be fun with this axe.
Yes, the Behir. We're planning on talking about that a little bit later. If you hang around, we can talk through the specifics of how the Behir functions. I hope that won't be too boring for you.
Oh, I will listen. I'm trying to learn from my friends, but I won't lie. As long as I can kill it, that's all I really care about.
Fair. There's one more thing. I wasn't sure whether to mention this or not, but one of these runes is it's a type of blood magic. This is going to sound a bit weird, but have you ever bled on this axe before?
I have spilled a lot of blood that is not mine on this axe.
I suspect it would need to be your blood, sir. If this rune here, this is specific.
I can't say I have. I'm not sure.
Don't do it in here. I'm not sure what the effect would be, and there's enough rogue magic around here with Albish practicing spells that it's probably best if you wait till you're far from here, but might be worth an experiment, and I'd love to know what the results were.
This interests me. Thank you very much. I will look into this.
Of course. No, always happy to help, and
Actually, maybe my patience was thin.
Sorry?
No, I can't do this here right now. Are you sure? You tell me this thing and I can't do it right now?
Not inside.
Okay, I'll be right back.
I think there's a good explanation for why Threign just disappears when you guys come back downstairs. Threign, we're going to skip through you battling the Gricks, but if you were to head outside...
We can definitely include them in it still, but...
Yeah. If you were to head outside, I'm guessing you would, cut yourself and put a bit of...
Well, I don't know how far the Gricks are, but I'd probably go sort of over there where I know there's really no one there. It's been cleared lately, and probably as well, even from like a survival standpoint, a lot of things have probably avoided the Gricks.
Yeah, absolutely.
It will take a bit of time for them to actually realize that there's like decaying corpses. So that's probably the best place to actually try it out.
Perfect. Talk me through. What do you do? How do you do this?
So he says I have to drip some of my blood. Okay, I sort of put it in front of me and I sort of stare at it for a bit, and I'm like, okay, no problem. And I just sort of get one of I probably have some knives or something else or some other form of utensil, like tool or something.
Yeah.
And I'll just prick my finger and I'll sort of run it along the blade of the axe.
Fantastic. That will do. As you just pull out your skinning knife for skinning kills on a hunt. Skillingkins. Good. That was a good rhythm spoon. As you prick your finger gently and then run it down the length of the blade, you watch as the blood begins to move and crystallize, forming these almost like red ice-like crystals in the shape of a single rune on the blade, which then immediately sinks into the metal. A moment later, you feel this wash of power from the blade, this blast of almost icy cold wind catching at your clothes or causing ice to grow across your beard as you feel this blast of cold air suddenly emanate from the axe as it begins to shake in your grip. Could I please get you to roll me a Constitution saving throw, Threign?
Oh, okay, no problem. 20, non-nat.
20 unnatural? Not bad. As this blast of cold washes over you, for a moment you feel this almost like a spike of fear before your bravery, before your courage kicks back in. You've been in far worse than this. You have stood atop the jagged peaks of the Northgard as a full blizzard has washed over you as part of your rites of passage to become an adult in Frost Giant Society eyes. You have plunged below the perpetual sea ice around the northern shores. You have felt cold much deeper than this at your very core. And as you concentrate and focus on that inner sense of warmth within you, that heartbeat, the cold begins to fade. Threign, next time you rage with your axe, we're going to talk about something that happens.
Okay, sick. Very fun.
But you feel this connection to the blade, a stronger connection. As you sort of hold in your hand, you can almost sense it there, feel its presence, this connection between the two of you. And if you were to, while taking on the Gricks, if you were to throw it one time, you can feel it, almost like a thread tying you to this axe as you throw it away towards the Gricks, and then as it strikes into them, you call it back into your hand. You know where this axe is at all times. You can feel it, almost like it's a part of you.
Cool. No, very lovely. I love it. Thanks, Owen.
Brilliant. We will jump back in time. We'll jump forward in time. After you've slaughtered a whole bunch of Gricks, stab them up. Thank you, Matt. As we arrive at the edge of the secret passage, originally you had all agreed that you would do a secret knock. The Sverniblin would keep the door closed. Gook and Noose said that they would keep this secret door closed. Once you got back to this location, you would do a secret knock and they would open the door and let you in. But as you approach, the door is open. The section of rock face that so perfectly hides this secret entrance is open wide, and you can see Gook frantically looking around. As soon as she spots you, she begins waving desperately, gesturing for you to rush over towards her. There's a panic to her. Even any of you with just passive perceptions, something's not right.
Oh no.
The journey from the tower to this area, how long was it again?
It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours tops. It's not too bad.
Yeah, not long.
Yeah.
Would we have had time for I guess, strenuous walking? Short rest, or yes or no?
You would have had a short rest before the tower. Like, you were at the tower long enough to have all had a short rest at the tower, definitely. On the walk, I'd say you're not running, you weren't rushing, you were sort of walking at a fairly even pace. Yeah, look, I'd probably say that it's light exercise, because you're not carrying huge things, you're not like rushing at that point, I think, and But you were using your inspiring leader feat to kind of like talk to the party about a plan that you had in mind. So I'd say I'd probably count that as light exercise. So therefore, probably does fall under the banner of a short rest.
Okay, just wanted to clarify because I will just trying to channel more of this power that I'm starting to realize is maybe like a bloodline thing, and I'm just going to pretend that I won't worry about it because obviously it's the only thing I get back with a short rest. But my channel divinity, I'm just going to use that to churn a bit of willpower into my harness divine power and get a spell slot back, and then the short rest will give me my channel divinity back.
Yeah, easy.
So just going to use it to get a second level spell slot.
As you guys approach Gook, she immediately, you can see her torn, not wanting to leave the safety of this secret hidden door and the passage beyond, but also wanting to get to you. And finally her resolve breaks as you get probably about like 10-20 meters away. You watch as she grabs a rock off the ground, jams it in the doorway to keep that secret door open, and then rushes towards you. You have to come quickly. You have to come. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. Please, come. As she rushes up towards you.
We're coming. But
Tell us as we're walking, as we travel. Fill us in quickly on what's happened in the couple of hours since we last saw you.
It's Gobbledy. He's gone. He's just gone. We don't know where he is. We think he's gone back to the stronghold.
Oh.
To Blindenstone?
To Blindenstone.
Oh no, that's not good at all.
We were debating how long we'd wait, and Noose kept saying that we had to wait longer, but I'm just scared he's doing something stupid.
Well, we're heading back there now, so we'll keep an eye out for him. I mean, it's.
I'm coming with you.
We'll find him.
No. Come on, we're getting in the cuts.
But,
Yeah.
Come on, jump on my back, little one. Let's go. Time is of the essence. We need to move, if that's the case.
She stands and holds her arms up so you can help pick her up and put her on your back.
Daddy!
She doesn't say that. As you swiftly pick her up, Threign, and drop her on your shoulders, she like sort of snuggles into the fur of your bearskin cloak, sort of moving a little bit away from the axe that's stored in the holster on your back, and then points at the secret door. As you all begin moving in. Oh, sorry, go ahead and ask.
Oh, I was just going to say, as like we're moving along, I'm just going to sort of ask, like, did your friend mention anything? Were they acting strange, perhaps, or acting maybe irrationally before they left?
He kept like worrying about where you guys were and how long you were taking, and I don't know. He kept muttering about something under his breath, talking about the. I think he's gone back for his family. He was convinced that his parents, his brother, they might still be there, and that us leaving was. I think he was worried about the Behir, the damage it was doing to the city, trying to get to us and trying to get through the tower. It seemed to really get to him. Lyra, you talked them out of that. You guys talked them out of investigating Blindenstone on their own. You guys did a great job of talking them out of it. Most of them out of it.
Yeah.
Well, there's not much we can do until we get back to the stronghold. I hope he's okay. By the sounds of things, it sounds like things are getting a bit dire there. Have you heard of any other noises or sounds from the Behir at all while we've been gone?
Oh, we're pretty far away here. We've not had anything come through.
Okay.
But you hear echoes through the tunnels, and I kept imagining what was happening back there with the. I think I understand why Gobbledy went back, despite us saying we wouldn't. As you step into the final chamber, I've assumed you guys are kind of like walking briskly during this point, making your way through. As you get to the minecart tracks where the minecarts were set up, you can see Noose, the much older Sverniblin, currently standing off to the side, inspecting what looks like a large handle set into the floor. Some sort of enormous lever and handle, which you're not really sure what the function of it is, but you can see he's kind of inspecting it. He's pulled out a little vial of almost what looks like oil from his pouch, and is currently oiling the mechanisms inside this large handle. As soon as you enter in, he kind of hears you talking. He looks up and goes, "Well, you guys took your time."
Well, things didn't quite go according to plan. Our friend here, Harry, by the way, well, you met Harry before.
Harry, as you wave with your partially replaced metal hand, you watch as Noose sort of freezes and looks at it and goes, "You're all right, lad? You're okay?" You're muted, Dave.
Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, just having a bad day, but it's all good. She'll be right.
Right. Okay. I'm assuming that as Gook's taking you through what's been going on. Gobbledy's headed back on his own. We're worried that he's doing something. Great.
No worries. We got this.
We were going through some plans about how we could assist with the battle against the Behir, and we the black powder reserves. I think I know where they might be located. If they're still intact, we could use them to help. Blow this fucker is the only way I can describe what my plan is. It's to get you lot to lure this creature over where the gunpowder reserves would be, the collapsed watchtower. I'm thinking we set the thing off.
Well, that would be pretty effective by the sounds of things. If need be, that sounds like we could add that to our list of things that we will do against this Behir.
I do think, just for due diligence, maybe we don't immediately set that off without double checking that there's no one hiding underneath that collapsed watchtower in with the gunpowder.
That's a good point, lass. And the other thing we're going to need is a reliable source of fire. Black powder is incredibly flammable. If we can get some guaranteed reliable source of flame, that will be essential to setting this thing off.
I just glanced over at Ember.
And the fiery bird on his shoulder, which is Noose kind of like slowly looks up and goes, "Aye, good, okay. Well, that sounds like that's handled then. All right, let's get back in the carts. Let's get back in the carts. I'll get the mechanism working. I think I found a way to speed up our transport. Get in. I think I found a way to get the powered tracks working again. I'm not just going to be relying on gravity this time. We're actually going to have a bit of clockwork powering us."
And while we travel, could you maybe tell us anywhere that you think that any areas of that Gook might have gone in the city?
His family lived in the Shale Borough. It's a section off towards the southwest. If the tower is the central point, southwest, maybe 2 or 3 blocks. I mean, I don't know exactly where his house is. Sorry, lad. We only really got to know Gobbledy when we were slaves of the Durga, but he spoke often of the Shale Borough with familiarity. I'd say his family were located there. He spoke of his brother often. It sounds like they were close.
And any sort of safe rooms, bunkers, the most likely places that the population would have maybe tried to get to if they had enough warning to,
You watch as his face slowly falls. You were with us when we checked them last, the train station that we went through. It's the most secure, safest place. If there was no one hiding there, then...
There's no other secret lore, jail, I don't know, even a rumor of a cool hiding spot, like anything that could give us a hand. I mean,
you are pretty good at secret rooms.
I'm gonna roll a history check let's roll a history check for Noose, see what he knows.
He's an old guy, stuff.
I don't remember no stories of I was only 8, you see, when I stopped believing in fairy stories. Unfortunately, with an 8. Sorry, lass, no secret tales. The gnomes, I mean, the secret passages, the trains, that's our way around in secret, a way of avoiding trouble in the Underdark. If there were no gnomes hiding out in that station, it means they've either moved on to other abandoned towers, other old strongholds, but there would have been messages left on walls, lass. Notes, runes, anything. There was nothing. An arrow, yeah. An arrow. There was nothing. It's like it had been untouched. He leans in, sort of looking at Gook and not wanting her to hear this. He leans in as she's sort of climbing into the cart, getting ready. I don't think our people were there when the Behir came by.
Right. There would be bodies, there would be damage, there would be people. I think unfortunately the Behir came across an already abandoned city. Which means that our people are either with the Durgar or with the Drow.
Or they've found a different safe place. You never know.
He smiles a very, very sad, very...
No, this does sound pretty grim, to be honest. It's probably not good.
Yeah, very, very sad, hopeless smile.
Down. Do not give them false hope. Get them ready for what must happen in the future. So when it does, they're ready to meet it. Not wither.
But you never know.
Sorry, lass. It's
There might still
unlikely.
be something left. We won't know until we get there. And it is true, I didn't see any bodies when I was flying around before. Not that I was looking a little bit. I didn't get a good picture of the city, but I didn't see anything. So there's a chance. We'll be able to do a bit more of an investigation once we've dealt with Behir, regardless.
There's an old saying amongst the Svanniblin. Hope is an ember. Burns bright with light, but can burn you just the same if you hold it in your hands too long.
That's very profound.
But that's also kind of the thing with embers. I mean, they can start off really tiny and small and insignificant, but give them a little bit of air and...
burn down a whole forest!
You never know how...
And we also have our own Ember, and I give our Ember a bit of a nudge. Uh-huh.
There's nothing wrong with fire. Fire's fine. It's yeah.
Exactly. See?
Yeah.
The fire of hope
Noose.
burns proudly in this party.
Noose nods. Maybe I've just lived too long. Gives you a very sad cock of the head before walking over slowly towards the handle.
Buddy.
Get in. I'll pull the lever when you're ready. Someone could help catch me. I'm going to have to run for the cart as he looks over at Threign, the longest arms in the group. As you all climb into the two mine carts and begin getting into comfortable positions, Noose pulls on the handle and then rushes over, reaching up again, very similar to Gook reaching up for Threign to kind of like pick him up and put him in the mine cart. Lyra, what was your question? That is a good question.
And just sort of as a guess, like, she's not going to outright ask him or any of them, like, but she's sort of, from what she knows of Snefniblin and other sort of deep folk, gnome-like folk, how old does she think he is? Like, after he sort of said, I guess I've just lived too long kind of thing. Like, she's like...
I'm going to say this could be an insight or an investigation, your choice. Insight to read his behavior, investigation to just look at him and go, how wrinkled is this prune? 16. Okay, and that was an insight. So you're kind of looking for his behavior. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. You get the distinct impression Noose is pretty old. The way he talks, the language that he uses compared to the two other gnomes is actually quite proper, quite professional. He uses this kind of clipped version of Common, which occasionally chucks in older words. Even his accent, which you might have noticed, is actually slightly different to the two other gnomes. It's this much sort of older dialect, or much more specific Svanniblin dialect, which he's kind of mixing in with his Common. You get the distinct impression. You go.
I was just going to ask, does some of like sort of the words, turns of phrase, are any of like sort of the older ones, are they ones from around Lyra's time, or are they sort of, it's probably like maybe after her, but before, in that weird timeline kind of thing going on?
Yeah, no similarities in language to what Lyra's used to, because Lyra, I mean, your version of Common that you know is like this Old English Common, essentially. It's like the beginnings of Common when it was still very heavily influenced by Elvish, Dwarvish, and Draconic, the three Eldar races. Because it kind of made sense to have Common kind of be like an offshoot of the three languages coming together. So that's how Common originates in Nostea, for those of you who were wondering where Common comes from. It is. This is a much, much older version. It looks like it shares some similarities with Elvish. You don't get the sense he's as old as pre-Ruin, but judging by the way in which he talks, the kind of almost like nihilistic output on life, he reminds you of some of the older elves that you would have interacted with. Those who are in their sort of like plus 300s mark. Which is interesting, because gnomes on the surface, and you're not sure how well this knowledge correlates to deep gnomes, but gnomes on the surface roughly live for sort of 200 to 300 years, really kind of tops. They don't generally live much longer than that. More so like 250 to 300 is kind of the upper limit. Deep gnomes, if it's similar, he'd be a very, very old gnome. Like the oldest gnome. So something else here. Yeah. I am ancient gnome. It's hard to know exactly, but you do get the sense he's an older gnome. Much, much older.
All right.
I mean, he talks to you as an elf like you're a youngster, which is a bold move for any other race to do. You whippersnappers! As you pile into the carts and begin to take off, picking up speed once again, the journey is actually smoother. Whether it's the work of the clockwork, whether it's the speed and direction, your spines no longer feel like they're being ground into dust by sitting in these minecarts. As you hear this from underneath the carts, the modulation of speed seems to significantly improve the handling of the carts and reduce a lot of that, shall we say, unpleasant friction that you were feeling by sitting in them. As the carts speed along faster and faster, no longer just relying on gravity to move them, you find the wind stinging your eyes, causing your lids to sort of close against this as you feel like water being pulled out of the side of your eyes as your tears are stripped from the surface by this blast of powerful wind as the carts move faster and faster and faster. Before too long, those of you over about 5 foot find yourself having to kind of sink into the carts to try and block the force of this wind. For Threign, there's really no relief for you. You are so tall. You are just taking this to the face like a champ at this point. I guess like if you like got your axe and held it in front of you, that might help break some of the wind, I guess. But
I don't think so. I think he'd be taking this as almost as like a challenge that he has to withdraw it.
That's it.
Endure it.
This is the first of Frost Giant challenges. I am Frost Giant Hercules, and this is my first labor. A lot of wind in face.
But I imagine like his face is like very cartoonishly like flapping in the breeze as well.
Well, the funny thing is, right, his beard, which is very carefully groomed and very carefully braided into that very tight series of braids, you can see the wind is just pulling the hair out of his beard. And by the time you guys get to your destination, I'm going to skip a little bit. The braids have been ripped from his beard. It is just this mess pushing outwards, almost like a Father Christmas beard pushing out. Threign looks a lot like Santa, a very aggressive barbarian Santa.
I'm going to assume that when Matt went, I'm going to assume that his character said the same thing. So I'm going to look at Niles and go, what? What is wrong? What is matter? What?
It looks like that breeze took the hairs off your face. Those lovely braids of yours seem to be no longer there. Did they just fall out? How did that happen? My goodness.
No, that is annoying. Oh well, it is what it is. And as I look at you, because I realize we've reached our destination, my beard is not the top of my priorities right now, and a smile creeps across my face. I guess what, Niles? It is Behir time. Time to slaughter a Behir.
It is.
Oh, I'm excited. I've been waiting for weeks, months. Oh, wait, sorry, no.
Days.
Well, it does feel that way.
Jared has been waiting
It's
weeks.
the fourth wall break.
It has been a very, I've been looking forward to testing my metal against it as well.
On the eve of battle, time flows slowly like syrup. It has felt like eons as I prepare my mind and body.
Testing your axe against those Greeks while we've been chatting to those wizards in the tower. I'm sure you're ready to strike down on this creature.
Oh yes.
As the two carts slowly rattle into this depot where you've seen before, I'll describe it again because it's kind of useful to have a picture of it in your mind. 2 layers of these large stone, almost like platforms, numerous rails going all along, creating what almost looks like this tiered, almost imagine like a railway station in our world, but rather than having the tracks separated horizontally, they're stacked on top of each other vertically, creating this tower of rails perched atop these beautifully carved stone structures, emerging from the walls, from the floors, forming this almost like honeycomb-like structure of stone pillars and stone crossbeams, holding aloft. I mean, it's hard to judge how many tracks are here, the way they crisscross and overlap one another, the holes in the walls that lead off into various different tunnels. I mean, there could easily be 30, even 40 different tracks here that lead to various different locations. It's hard to tell. And you know that they split off further down as well. The track that you came along, 3 more joined up with it as you were getting closer. The deep gnomes... sorry, yeah, Niles?
I was just going to say, like, as I look through this and, like, there's almost like, you know, we are, like, obviously not expecting the best for the Snurnivlin and the city, but, like, seeing this, like, very, like, intricate network of tunnels and tracks, I'm sort of starting to think, like, maybe the gnomes did get out. Looks like they have a pretty interesting setup here.
The interesting thing is that these are clearly old. These have been here for a while. The distinct impression that you've been getting over time is that the gnomes once were much more prosperous. I mean, they've spoken many times about the other abandoned settlements, the other strongholds, Blindenstone being the last stronghold. It sounds like as time has gone on, the gnomes have fallen further and further, and these tracks are probably one of the last great works that they constructed that they still control. And this is a people who are slowly slipping away, that time has just kind of rolled over and left behind in the dust. As your cart slowly... Oh yeah, go.
I was just going to ask, do any of the, as we sort of pass them, do any of the other tracks show sign of recent-ish use? Like, I'm imagining there's sort of like a bit of a good layer of dust and dirt on the unused rails versus ones that are used.
Yes, absolutely. Could I please have a survival, perception, or investigation check? Your choice, Lyra.
I was going to say, and similarly, I guess maybe Niles is probably thinking of the tracks per se, but even just the wear and tear in the station itself. Like, I imagine if there hasn't been that many people moving through, it would be pretty dusty and whatnot. I think Niles would probably just have a very cursory look at.
So the cool thing is, right, that dust mostly is, and this is a gross fact for everybody if you don't already know this, dust is mostly dead skin cells that have sloughed off living creatures, broken bits of hair, organic matter. If this train track was in regular use, weirdly, that would mean it was more likely to be dusty. It's only when stuff has been used a lot and then abandoned that it gets this big layer of dust. Especially if it's in this... So, the environment here, imagine no organic matter at all. Everything's stone and metal. So the source of dust is going to be hard to locate. But you are correct. There is a layer of dust over much of this place. Dust that... and it's not just... the traditional dust, there's cobwebs in places as well, and you can see what looks like this fine, almost like marble powder residue over some of the upper layers of the tracks as well. Niles, if you wanted to roll me I'd say this is more perception and investigation than survival. If you wanted to roll a perception or investigation check.
Definitely perception.
I'd say, I'd say perception and investigation, because you're not really looking for tracks. You kind of assess the damage to this place and the situation that it finds itself in, whereas Lyra, survival definitely would be one of the ones you can do. Perception though, 23, Lyra. Yeah. As you look, you can see that most of the upper tracks, the ones much higher up, actually are in disrepair. In fact, you can see one of the tracks, the metal of the bracket that holds the track in place, has actually eroded and broken. You don't think you could ride on this safely without the cart plunging down about 9 stories into the stone below. Probably not great. Yeah, as I said, imagine like loads and loads of stations stacked on top of each other. The roof here is enormous. When you were in the tower, you could see there was a large mountain, or maybe even a large stalactite, that this was sort of built into. The lower sections, though, Lyra, the station directly underneath where you guys pull into, and these are joined by these sort of crisscrossing stairs made of stone, just carved into the side of the wall. As you begin walking down, you spy, Lyra, what look like footprints. Not old footprints either. These are scuffed, as if people were moving quickly. You can see, it's hard to say exactly, but maybe 8, maybe 9 pairs of footprints. Child-sized. So
it's not gooks.
Or gnome-sized. Not gooks.
Yeah.
I'll get to gooks, because you also see gooks footprints as well. But as you get down to that lower level, maybe 8, maybe 9 child-sized or gnome-sized footprints and scratches on the stonework where something was dragged over towards the edge, probably put onto a minecart, judging by where the scratches end. And then as you look down the tunnel, you do see a section of almost what looks like cloth. This beautiful dark green dye, only a fraction of it, but caught on a section of stone around the edge of the mouth opening of the tunnel. That has to have only been there a couple of weeks, couple of months tops for it not to have degraded or just pulled off. As you get to the bottom of the stairs and begin heading into the secret passage that leads up towards the base of the tower where you guys first emerged into Blindenstone the last time you were here, you see a single set of footprints leading directly in the way you're headed until you get to the base of the tower. As you all begin walking out and emerge in the large circular room, the secret wall that the Svenniblin opened for you last time to get you into this room, Gook just opens again for you as you guys step through before closing it behind. Her and Noose looking around anxiously. Oh yeah?
Well, sorry, I was just going to say, when we first saw that big group of footprints, you probably would have stopped everyone just sort of being like, look, hope is a kind of a valuable thing, especially when we're going into what is probably going to be a pretty crazy fight with a creature that we've never fought before. But like I said, it's hope can sometimes take the form of just the tiniest little ember, and all it needs is just a little gust of air and you've got yourself a fire. And she'll sort of point down at that, the group of footprints and the signs that belongings have been moved, I
love the idea of you though, as you say a little gust of air can help raise hope, and then you accidentally cast gust of air and you watch as the footprints are just evaporated as the dust is blown away. A little gust of air. Oh shit.
Wow.
No, as you point out the footprints, you watch as Gook, eyes wide, climbs down off Threign's shoulders. Threign, you feel like as Gook begins pinching into your shoulder, then underneath your arm as she tries to climb down you very, very rapidly. And as she rushes over next to Lyra and looks at the footprints, she turns and looks at you, Lyra. These big brown eyes open wide, a smile across her face, tears brimming at the lower lids. You're right. The people got out. Some people got out. I can see the footprints. Noose, people got out. Which as Noose sort of nods slowly, looks over and examines the footprints and goes, it does appear that way. Could also be from before there was stuff going on here, love. Let's not make any conclusions.
As soon as he brings that, she'll then bring up the cloth. She's like, and slightly further along there, that doesn't look like it's been there for very long.
Exhibit B for the prosecution as you cast your gaze leftward.
Objection!
Yes! Yeah, as you Phoenix right Noose halfway through his rather depressing fact check and reality check as you go, objection! Point out the green fabric. Lyra, the next thing you feel is tiny arms wrapping around your torso. Actually, no, you're not that tall, are you? You're 5 foot, aren't you? You feel very normal-sized arms wrap around you, pulling you into a hug as you look down as Gook wraps you up in a big hug, burying her head in your chitin mycelium breastplate, and then pausing for a moment, and then slowly moving her head back from the breastplate, but then keeping the hug going, thank you so much. It was really hard thinking that everyone was gone, but you're right. The green fabric, the footprints, people got out. Lots of people, maybe everyone.
Yeah, look, all we know for now is that some people got out, and where some people get out, maybe lots of people could get out. But the reason I pointed this out isn't so much just for the hope's sake, but also, we're going to go find Gook. We're going to go wherever the hell he's gone, and hopefully we're going to get him back safe. But I guess what I wanted to say is, you two gnomes, you need to keep yourselves safe. If we're in the thick of it and all this fighting and stuff's going on, I don't want to see you guys playing hero or anything. It's because what the hell are you gonna, other than your friend Gook, but it's not as if you'd be saving the whole city or anything, because they're not here, but they're in other places, so you need to be alive to go find them.
I'm Absolutely. You're 100% right. Thank you. Thank you so much. She like pulls you in for another hug.
She just gives her a very affectionate pat on the head, just like, it'll be all right. Just, be smart. Keep being smart for just a little bit longer. Because, you guys have made it this far. You're pretty tenacious little guys, but, we want to keep you guys safe for, a while yet.
She does not take offense at pretty tenacious little guys, instead accepting the compliment and enjoying the hug.
Hey, Lyra can't say shit. She's not that much taller.
It's true. Very short Eladrin. You sure there's no gnome in you?
No. I originally, I sort of wrote it from when Shana was sort of describing the body. She's just like, oh, just like me, but without the tail. And so I kind of just figured, I'm like, okay, that's probably about where the human part of Shana.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. No, that's
5 feet done.
That's fantastic. As all of you make your way following Noose, who sort of takes the lead at this point, with Gook a bit out of it, very, very emotional at this point, and looking desperately around for any other signs, and Lyra pointing stuff out and going, "Is that a sign? Like, I can see a scuff mark. Do you reckon that's new? What about the footprint there? The footprint there. Oh no, that's an old footprint. But what about this one?
Are we off the mines at this point in time?
At this point, as you guys get to the main entrance, as you step through the doors into the large tower, this is where I was about to start describing. So as you step through that secret entrance, the double doors hidden perfectly with the stone wall, as you step through out into the open foyer of the tower, the ground floor of the tower, you can see this enormous cylindrical room. Spiral staircase rising high up into the floors above. And this is the tower that you guys first entered into Blindenstone when you were last here. It has changed since you were last here, though. You can see in the center of the room rubble. Sections of stone have carved in what looks like from somewhere higher up. In fact, the floor above now has a gaping hole in the very center, the rubble having fallen through. And you can hear wind whistling through high above, probably from an opening that was not there previously.
I'm going to just quickly, clawed fingers are going to touch underneath her jaw and close her mouth.
Yeah. I just begin listening to see if I could hear anything, or, now that we're kind of in the danger zone now.
Alrighty.
Hey, do you think, and as Niles is sort of standing there, sort of listening, like a whisper behind him, do you think I should shout out a warning or a challenge?
No, please no.
I don't think that would be necessary just yet.
So I should say, Threign, there was a bit of a...
my face, though, admittedly.
I should say, Threign, there was a bit of a discussion. I believe, who was it? Someone had said they wanted to try talking to the Bahir. Was that you, Ali? No, was it Dave who wanted to... Was it Dave and Ember, Harry and Ember, who wanted to attempt talking to... I feel like someone said they wanted to try talking to it, but they were like... And I didn't know how Threign would respond to that, so I didn't have Threign weigh in an opinion. But I just realized that like the two options were like we go in and ambush this creature right immediately, or there was a discussion. I'm trying to remember who it was who mentioned that they wouldn't...
myself, I thought... Because I wanted to speak to a dragon.
Yes, that's right.
This was the closest chance that we may possibly come to being able to speak to one because of how old it is. The fact it would have been around during...
That's fair enough. No, I remember what Ember had been talking about. Ember, I remember what you've been asking about. And yes, I saw your thing in chat. You absolutely can pull up a railway spike and bring it with you, 100%. That's not a problem. That's what reminded me of what your actual question was. I remember now. Oh, man.
As Niles begins to hone his hearing, he rolls a 21 on the perception check to see if he can hear any sort of noise.
Niles. At first, all is silent in the abandoned fortress. Roll credits. You can hear the sound of occasional stone rubble falling from places high above. Far away, it's hard to tell. The way that sound echoes in these caverns makes it very difficult to pinpoint the location, the source of any noise. But then, just as you think there's nothing more to hear, that's all silent, you hear that same noise that strikes fear into your heart once again. The sound of something leathery sliding across stone, the sound of a large, bulky body covered in scales, making its way almost silently through the streets. The sound echoes, the cylinder tower turning into an amplifier, making it very difficult to locate where this noise is coming from or how close it is. But you do get the distinct impression, if it's being picked up and you're able to hear it inside the tower, it can't be that far. Harry, I saw your stealth check, 25. You guys turn around, the bunny's gone. Just gone. Bunny's gone.
If there was talking with... sorry, I didn't write down any notes. Which is the Swiftnoblin that's missing at the moment?
Gobbledy, the younger man. So you've got Gobbledy and Gook, who are the younger gnomes. They probably look, if they were human, to be in their maybe 30s, maybe 40s.
Okay.
Gook is the young lady who's with you guys now. Noose is the older Swiftnoblin who's with you. Gobbledy's the one who's missing. He was the one who sounded like this, right? You remember Gobbledy? Come on, how can you forget Gobbledy?
Wonder which one, how specific I want to be. It's the second level spell slot, which I want to save for smites, but I used the Channel Divinity, so I was able to get one back, so I feel like this is worth it. Just to save us searching for someone that may no longer be with us. I am going to, as everyone sort of is preparing, getting stealthy, looking around and hearing, lean down and try to feel and reach out with my own sort of compassion and love, the sort of feeling of my friends around me, the way that this sort of paladin powers invoke in myself, and see if I can feel the lack of that coming from Gobbledy. And I'm going to cast Locate Object on Gobbledy's body.
Oh, okay.
It only works on objects, not creatures, so it won't work if he's alive. If he's dead within 1,000 feet of here, however, in all directions, it will work.
That's a good question. But it does locate the nearest object of a particular kind if it can't locate.
So that's why I was thinking whether or not I wanted to say dead Swiftnoblin or Gobbledy.
Can locate a specific object as long as you've seen it up close within 30 feet. Yeah, so we're pulling a little bit because you've seen Gobbledy up close within 30 feet. You haven't seen his body up close, but I would say it still falls under the purview of the spell. As you cast the spell, there's a moment where the magic wavers, almost as if it's unsure, and then latches onto something. The direction, directly north of where you are. Do you know how far? No, it's just the direction. Yeah, just the direction. Directly north of where you are. It is not currently moving. But there's a moment where the magic wavers, but doesn't really know what to latch onto.
If the spiral were to head up and then we were to walk towards that front gate and entrance above, obviously it's weird with the verticality at the moment, would that be north?
No, that'd actually be east, the front gate. North would be... So where Niles flew off to go around the balcony. So the balcony faces east towards the front gates. Niles spun around and then began flying north from that direction, and that's where he first encountered the Bahir.
Okay, so this direction, we're sort of feeling it around a corner. It's deeper in Blindenstone.
Yeah, it's deep within the city. Although where you guys are is the center of the city. The tower rises up in the very middle.
He's actually gone in the opposite direction to his family's house.
Yeah, that's interesting. Are there any other ways out of the tower aside from just through the main gate, other than, and also kind of where we came from? Like
not that you guys know of. Not that you guys know of. The main, I mean, when you were here before, I mean, you can ask the two Swiftnoblin with you. I can see a whole bunch of you have rolled stealth checks. You guys worried about something? Lyra, 7. Nate, 7. Ember, 10. Oh, you guys are getting eaten first. You're going to be a delicious aperitif. Yeah, I mean, really the only entrance to the stronghold that you know of is the main gates towards the east.
Okay.
I would like to quickly approach to, I guess, Niles, who is intently listening at the moment. His owl head sort of cocking left and right.
He's like feathered
Niles.
ears moving to catch the sound.
We need to get moving. I think I can feel Gobbledy about to pass away. I don't know how much more to explain it other than that. North in a direction, quick decision making now. I'm not sure if we tell the party or not. Do we find Gobbledy or do we head to the Bahia?
But do you want to quickly roll me an Arcana check? This is your spell. You haven't cast it yet in the campaign, but I would be good to know how your knowledge of this spell works. I want to see how deeply you know the spell. Natural fucking 20. Bart, you know your magic, Bart. That pause before the spell locked on, that was the spell attempting to locate the object that you concentrated on. It was unable to locate that object, so it went for the next nearest object that it could that matched the description you gave it. When you focused on body of Gobbledy, it attempted. There was an initial pulse out, could not locate that. So then it went for the next best thing, body of Svirfniblin. And it has located the nearest body of a Svirfniblin.
Oh.
I'd like to think that maybe even in my childhood not being a perfect sort of gened creation of my family's lineage, I probably used stuff like this to find like injured animals, like this faint sense and feeling to help heal them.
I'm happy to say that this is a spell you've used many, many, many times before. You know it intimately. You know exactly what it's
part
like.
Of my paladin powers, just stuff that, like, I guess this would be the very first attempts at me starting to control those powers.
It's a genuinely useful spell, though.
Locate objects, fantastic.
That's what I used to get that 500 gold ruby for the necklace way back when. So getting back into that, do we head towards retract that? Do we head towards the body? I think it's just a dead Svirfniblin. It might be evidence of what happened to the survivors. Should we get more information, or do we focus on the Bahia?
I think the Bahia is probably the biggest threat at the moment, and I don't know how much longer Threign can wait before he goes and challenges it himself.
A little bit of drool slowly moves out the side of Threin's mouth as he's like... Nah, Threign's in like battle meditation.
I do remember being there for... I think I remember talking about them talking to it, and I think I remember sort of saying that I would go along with that, and then if his plan failed, my plan would be to then smack it.
Smack my Bahia up, I think was Threign's exact plan.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this only will last several more minutes. We should get going now. That way, I at least have a vague idea of where the survivors' bodies may be.
Well, there's only one way out by the looks of it, so we may as well wrap around the tower and...
I see all of us haltering and being cautious, and I was going to do the same myself, but I guess Bart, with his full set of plate mail, is going to start taking some steps towards the staircase.
Fantastic.
Niles is also like in two minds because he kind of wants to like fly around and like, you know, do the real nimble flight swoopy whoopy thing that he usually does. But he realizes the plan, which is to actually stay near Bart. So he's actually going to kind of stay within the 10 feet of Bart, even at this point.
Also, not that I don't believe in you, but if we have a flashback to last time you tried flying around quiet, stealthy with the Bahia.
Yeah, I didn't go very well. that's so fresh in Niles' mind.
To be fair, I think you rolled like a 4 or a 5. It was like pretty bad. Like the dice roll was like a 4 on that. It was bad. It was a bad dice roll.
Which is wild because my stealth is pretty good. It's +8, so
I think maybe it wasn't even a natural 1. I'm trying to remember back. It was really bad. Like I remember your face at the time.
It was like a 2.
Yeah.
It wasn't a natural 1.
I think it might have been a 1. I remember your face when you rolled. You just went like, which is how I knew you'd rolled badly because I hadn't seen the dice roll come through yet. But watching that moment of panic, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have some fun now. Now it's time for my fun."
It literally might have been a 1.
Tasty treat.
Ember, you don't happen to have Pass Without a Trace as a druid, do you?
What? Sorry, the
Pass Without a Trace. Just checking.
no,
Cool
I
spell.
don't think I do.
Cool. Yeah.
It might not be a spell that Wildfire get access to. Actually, I'm trying to remember.
I thought it was just a druid spell.
Might be a
is that
standard
like
bait. Yeah, maybe. I think it might be a standard druid spell.
I think it's a druid spell. And there are some druids. Maybe the other one does.
Does Lyra have Pass Without a Trace?
I'm not currently. I'm not even sure if I can get it.
Let's hope this disadvantage +3 does it.
Unless we can find find a Gobbledy, and then we can come back tomorrow if I can double check and see if I
Come back tomorrow. I don't think Threign's going to last an hour, let alone another day.
Yeah.
While we're here as well, though, do we want to put the poison on our weapons like we were discussing last week? Or
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Ember, you've got some
yeah.
pretty brutal poison in your inventory that was gifted to you by Sylvie.
Well, we know the staircase is multiple levels because it took us a bit to run down it.
Yep.
So why don't we
You
start
know
doing
it's
that as
like
we're heading up?
13, 14 levels high, this central tower. It's huge. It's enormous.
Sorry, just before we start poisoning the weapons, I completely forgot to ask this back when we were at the tower, but I remember that they mentioned that the poison creates like this sort of like leathery, you know, kind of armor-like.
Yeah,
skin.
preserves tissue.
That's not going to make the Bahir like invulnerable or anything, like, you know, or immune to more stuff.
Lyra, roll me a nature or medicine check with advantage, please.
Or nature or medicine.
That's a 5 for the stealth check.
Oh, yeah,
for
definitely.
Bartholomew.
10, you didn't see that?
It's a 5.
No.
That's a good.
Or
Let's take a 22. Lyra, it does this by killing the tissue that it encounters. It's basically imagine a very aggressive neurotoxic form of formaldehyde that spreads out from a point of contact, killing the flesh and preserving it in the same movement. It is not going to give the Bahir super invulnerability. It is going to kill flesh that it touches. Or if it was to be added to already dead flesh, maybe help keep dead flesh together? That's what it was designed for. I mean, you remember Sylvie saying that it was designed by a very powerful necromancer wanting to empower his undead creations, give them a...
Yeah, the necromancy. So it's just, I'm like, just making sure we're not going to screw ourselves over here.
No, this is... Yeah, undead creatures, thumbs up. Anything alive, big thumbs down. This thing is not good.
How's that undead army going, Lyra?
Just working on it.
I'll get there eventually. I don't even have one at the moment.
Oh yeah, you lost Tim.
I lost him.
Still raw. That's all right. You might be able to add Gobbledy to the army.
Well, you had the whole Nimblewood city to be like, yeah,
I know where one is
again.
Yeah, Bart knows exactly where your new best friend is.
Actually, speaking about that, on the way, 2 points. I'm going to dart a look over towards Lyra. Don't forget to collect some spiders. That way you can squish them and revive them back on the battlefield. And Ember, how many weapons do you think we can coat? How much?
That's a great question. I have a very small vial. I don't have a large amount, but I'm sure that we could pick a few weapons to cover them in.
So as you look at the vial, Ember, you know that this is going to coat one large weapon or two small weapons. Essentially, something like a great axe or a great sword, even a long sword, you're going to be using the whole vial to coat it. Something like a dagger, you'd get a lot more arrows. So 2 daggers, you'd probably get about 4 or 5 arrows.
Oh, wait. Wasn't the plan for your bird to just sort of terrorist dive into the mouth?
That was one option, and then we also discussed about coating all the weapons.
Yeah.
So depending on...
I reckon the flicker kamikaze into the mouth with the venom.
I like the plan. I will say if you wanted to save Flicker for saving Threign or other options, I do plan on using my Channel Divinity, and hopefully with us having advantage on the attack rolls, it's going to give me a plus, what's this going to be? A plus 11 to hit with advantage. So I think I have a very good chance of injecting.
Okay. So is yours... No, that's... Of course. If yours is a not a large weapon, is that...
It's a very large weapon.
Okay.
It's a big old katana. No, what do we say? What's the sword in Japan?
Oh, the Dawnblade is a long sword, not a great sword.
Yeah, long sword.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's right, you're using the Dawnblade now.
Depending on which way you want to do it. I mean, I did have Flicker. I've got this little railroad spike. I know it doesn't look very big, but what I was thinking that if we were going to fly him in there, I could cover one other small weapon and his railroad spike, jam it into the Bahir, heat that metal, and then let him run out of there.
Not a bad idea. Well, you don't even need to worry about coating the spike in it, because wasn't it just... It's also an ingestible one, we said. It just needs to be in his body.
It's a contact poison, which means you can get it in anyway.
Exactly right. So that was my idea of one.
Yeah. I reckon we do that. and everything else.
I have no interest in this poison. You can use it. I do not use cheap little tricks like that to earn my honor.
Yeah, Threign. I mean, if they use a poison, is this an honorable battle?
Threign, your job is pretty easy. The tactics we went over, you're just holding this thing down and pummeling it. Make sure it cannot run away.
Oh, I will do as I wish, little one.
Okay, let's make sure we don't all die though, because you're wanting to get pride, okay?
No worries, little one.
Okay.
Bard is a bard.
I'm back,
Threign will
baby.
do what he wants. I'm sure.
Chaos. Although at least a little bit of chaos is back. I do curtail him lots.
I'm assuming that you guys are wandering around looking for things. Is that the plan? I can
heading up
see
the
it
stairs
making
as
your way
well,
up the stairs.
yeah.
Lyra, you look like you're looking for spiders currently.
No, she started looking for spiders and then pulled out her spell book and reread it, and then goes, "Oh, actually, no," because it's the I can raise the animals, small to medium beasts, if they die within 10 feet of me, as an instant reaction. But only humanoids for the carrying bodies.
No, my plan was so with that reaction thing, to collect 3 spiders and then just squish them on the battlefield and use your reaction. Wouldn't that work?
I guess unless you have to use an action for each squish is all I'm thinking.
I know, but it's adding like an extra action economy body to the initiative that the Behir would need to waste. Possibly. I don't know if it's worth it. I'm just like pulling
We're getting very metagamey here. I have a limit to how much metagaming I will allow. We have very much approached the line. I will add in a warning now. We are starting to when other people are like, this spell instead of this spell, when they might not have even seen the spell in action, we're starting to get a bit more. You guys are the experts on your own characters. As you begin making your way up the stairs, Lyra, at this point you're sort of like flicking through your spells really quickly, taking note, taking stock. We've got a 5 on a stealth, we've got a 7 on a stealth, we've got a 10 on a stealth. Beautiful. All I needed to know. As you guys begin making your way up the stairs, Niles, you were making an active choice to keep an eye out before. You watch as Noose and Gook are sort of staying close to you, not wanting to get too far away from you guys, not wanting to put too much distance between you and and any safe spot, let's say, making sure they're nice and close for safety. As you begin making your way up to the lower floor of the tower, as you begin moving up from the ground floor to the first floor, there's a movement out of the corner of your eye, Niles. Something moving past the window just for a second, and as you look, it's gone.
I glance around at everyone, and I just say very quietly, obviously stage whispers to this, I think it's pretty close. I think I saw something through the window. Might have been Harry. I haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah, Harry, what have you been up to, man?
Yeah, Harry's just kind of been like lurking, keeping a distance so that like he can watch from other angles effectively.
Okay.
Because if everyone's walking in one line and watching like similar angles, Harry wants to be able to see if they're going to be attacked. He wants to be able to yell on them.
Harry, can you make me a perception or investigation check? Your choice.
Fuck yeah.
Definitely perception.
What's Lyra doing? You're just whacking something with her shillelagh.
I was just trying to remember the thing ready, and I clicked on it.
Just getting Threign ready for the fight. Just hoping you get ready, Threign. Getting you in the moment. 26, Harry.
26.
Holy shit.
Great roll.
Harry, as you begin making your way towards the outer doors that lead away from the tower, the doors are currently closed. And as you gently move up and have a bit of a look through, you can see that rubble has fallen and is currently blocking the doors into the tower on this level. But the angle you're at now lets you see up through the hole into the floor above. And as you look, you can see part of the wall has collapsed and a makeshift ramp has been formed from a nearby building collapsing into it, leading to the outside. It's at this point you see a long, sinuous blue tail hanging gently down just near this gap, slowly moving back and forth. And as your companions begin to make their way upstairs, you watch as the tail slides up out of view, disappearing into the floor above.
It's hunting us. Oh.
And Harry catch the eyes of his teammate with a bit of a flicker of the Eldritch Blast, but not like actually blasting.
Oh, you're just like.
Yeah. I would say you know that you can light up your gemstone on your hand as almost as if you were casting an Eldritch Blast, holding the energy as you light up your hand and hold it above to draw yourself to your companions, draw their attention back towards you.
Yeah, I'm actively looking around, so I probably notice it straight away.
Okay. So then Harry is like snake movement and pointing where he saw it.
Oh.
Tail.
Up there. Oh my. I don't like the fact that we're going up these stairs. It's going to make fighting this thing a little hard.
What was that, Harry?
Harry then goes back into hiding.
Perfect. I'm going to say, like, for you just breaking it to grab your teammate's attention, then vanishing again, you don't have to roll stealth check again. I'm happy to take you.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Christian, but
when Niles just mentions that he sees something, Art still isn't convinced this place isn't haunted at all. Fucking just get another divine sense, just in case.
How far out is the divine sense? Let me check the cloud.
It is
60 feet,
like
right?
60 feet. Yeah. The divine sense is just celestial
So it's your
fiends and undead.
Undead is what I need to know about. No,
And
all G, my man.
and then
There's
detecting
no return sense.
good and evil or the hallowed spell, but only things that are not behind total cover.
You detect no strong evil within. Oh no, you would. Let me check. Hang on.
So just so I'm clear, are we like currently going up the stairs?
You're halfway up the stairs to the next floor. I'm just quickly doing. No, you would sense no strong evil. Like a noxious odor, but you would sense. I'm going to say, Bart, even though it's not the sense of strong evil, there is this lingering sense because it does say like a noxious odor and powerful good rings like a heavenly music. As you begin to move up, there's this sense, this almost like a greasy, earthy smell. Not quite powerful evil, but something not far off it. Just for a moment, and then the smell vanishes as you guys get halfway up the stairs and you cast that spell.
I have a quick question for that as well.
Yeah.
Is there any intense evil or good radiating off us? Because I know there's been some things going on.
I don't think any of you would be intensely good. I don't think any of you would be intensely evil. I think most of you are most of you are good aligned. I don't think any of you are evil aligned.
No.
There's no sense of any powerful evil from any of you. I mean, probably out of all of you, Bard, as you set off this, and you sort of your eyes glance over Ember, you hear this momentary as the heavenly good rings in your ears for a brief second. I think probably out of all of you, Ember's probably the closest to the good. I mean, his entire circle of druids is designed to wipe out evil. So
yeah, he's pretty up there.
As you scan across Harry, not Harry, but the heart of gold he keeps in his pouch rings, the one that he's cut out of a celestial. Just for a moment.
Okay.
I know we don't talk about that out loud. Sorry, Harry. We don't talk about the heart of gold.
Some people keep a rabbit's foot, so Harry keeps a human heart. So
I like it. Human foot. That would have been hilarious.
No. Human heart's better. I like the escalation.
That's pretty good.
I've got to get a fresh one each week. They just keep dying on me. It's a real shame. Those things don't last.
It's like that name. It's like, what am I going to do with all these hearts? Oh.
I went through a small village yesterday, and it just jangles a bag full of hearts. Yeah.
So just to reset the scene a little bit, we are currently to ground level is where we came out of the tower.
So you popped out at ground level, basically at the very base of the tower. You're now moving up to the first story. The front doors, which Harry has kind of identified, the front doors seem to be partially blocked by something that's collapsed across them. Looks like there's rubble blocking the front doors out. But I'm going to say, Harry, you wanted to quickly whisper to Ember or to Lyra, who are sort of at the back of the group at this point. Bart and Threign very much at the front, I'm getting the impression, like leading the charge against this thing. You guys can sort of gnome whisper this up towards the front, that you think there's a way out of the tower, partially collapsed roof, giving a bit of access out.
I think if we could leave the tower as soon as possible, that would be wise. And I don't like the idea of fighting this creature inside the tower. It seems a bit crammed and will restrict our movement as a team quite significantly. Niles says in a very serious voice.
Now, usually, obviously, a horse wouldn't be able to, but a fox wouldn't have too much trouble with stairs, would it?
No. Foxes have no troubles with stairs.
Perfect. So I'll be on Kong Chi as we're steadily going up, but I'm not going to be going ahead of the group. Following the plan, I'm going to try to put myself in between, as far as I'm aware, Threign, Niles, and Ember, who sounded like we were going to be our front line.
Yeah.
Well, if we're looking to head up and out now, I'm going to summon Flicker. I'm going to hand him the little... I mean, he's always out, but actually have him active so we can move further away from him than a couple of feet. Hand the railroad spike, the little vial, and be like, lead the way, little guy.
So you're going to send Flicker out on ahead, flying up out the window.
I mean, my thoughts... I mean, I saw Niles fly around before and he was almost eaten instantaneously, is my understanding. I wasn't there for the session, but yeah, I'd be sending him out, hoping that maybe he'll just get eaten or be able to cast him inside of him.
Alrighty. Here's what happens. Ember, as you hand the little vial of poison to Flicker along with the railroad spike, Flicker sort of holds them, tucks them in close with his little front paws, flaps his wings, and then takes off. As he flies up, casting this soft, warm glow around the room. All of you who are on the stairs sort of looking up, not quite at the eye level of the floor yet, so you're sort of like just below it, looking up and around, keeping yourselves hidden below at that ground floor. You watch as Flicker flies up and flies out through this large, broken open hole. Flicker gets about 40 feet away from the entrance of this tower, and then you watch as these enormous jaws drop down from above, slamming into Flicker as Flicker is swallowed whole. I am going to throw all of you into initiative straight away. Ember, if you could please roll me some dice. Let me just quickly pull open the information on the poison. I'm going to need you to roll me a fair few dice for this bad boy right now.
Could you imagine if it just straight up dies? We're just like, oh, okay.
We're so prepared for this.
Ember, could you please roll me? Sorry, I'm just trying to pull open the notes. Did I add it to your character sheet exactly how many dice you need to roll, or was I not that organized? I'm willing to bet I was not that organized.
No.
That's right. That's right. I've got the notes here somewhere. My one note is just doing that annoying thing where it's like, page not synced yet. And then trying to get me to sync the page. Here we go. Ember, I need you to roll me 4d8, and I'm going to be adding some things to that, and the Bahir needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
4d8.
Okay,
That is 18.
Okay, 18. Thank you very much. Constitution saving throw is not as bad as I was thinking. Okay. Cool. Alrighty. Let me quickly pull open your tokens. I'm going to flick us in. I think we should have one round of combat for sure. Oh, that's a bit intense, that music.
Let's go!
Natural 20 for Lyra.
Not the only one.
Natural 23rd.
That's fantastic. I better bring you across to the map as well, actually, guys. I'm gonna be really annoying. I'm gonna have to move you over to the map. You should now be on the map of Blindenstone. I've positioned you at the base of the tower. I'm actually gonna move all of you into the tower here, and I'll just quickly send that one to the. And I had Zeron with you in case he stuck around as well. I'll just quickly move him into the team.
Oh, you've still got Tim with me as well.
Oh yeah.
Aww.
See you, Tim. Bye, bitch.
I miss Tim.
I know, Tim was good, wasn't he? Now, I'll just quickly add your turns really quickly because they haven't come across annoyingly. Ember, have you rolled initiative yet? Could you click on your...
Yes, 15.
Great. Alrighty, we've got Ember on 15, Lyra on a natural 20, which is 22. That is going to... Nope. It's done you guys the wrong way around. Bartholomew... Oh, that's a 6, buddy. That's rough.
Myself and Kong Chi are both on a 6.
That's really rough. I'll just keep you on the same initiative then in that case.
Hey, me too.
15.
I
Threign?
got 6 as well.
Hey, fantastic. Threign is also on 6. Lyra should be on 22. Sorry, let me fix that up. I'm going to put the gnomes at the end of the initiative round. They are not going to be participating in combat, but they will be doing something for you. They've got something in mind.
Cool.
I'll just put them. I'll put it as Noose. I'll say Noose is the main primary initiative dealer. Hey, let's chuck Noose on. All right, is everyone in the initiative? Have I missed anyone? Noose is only a 2. That's about right. We've got Harry, Bart, Threign, Lyra, Ember. I'm missing Niles. What was your initiative, Niles?
Mine was 25.
25. And I better roll for the here, which you guys currently can. You've just seen the head. So I will say that you do roughly know where the Behir is at this point, having just reached out from behind the corner.
So good.
Yeah, having just emerged from behind the corner. Let me roll for the Behir really quickly, and then we can get underway. All right. There we go.
It says your initiative is 15 on Roll20, is that right?
Yeah, that's what I rolled.
That's right. 15.
Yeah.
Right.
5 plus 10.
Oh, shit. Sorry, I was looking at your perception still for some reason. That's alright. Never mind.
Alrighty. I will also bring us across to the map.
Yay!
Oh, it's got the faces in the wrong position. I'll fix that up later. We'll keep it on the webcams and I'll fix that up in the meantime. That's okay. That's super easy to fix. Alrighty. As we are on the map, first up in the initiative order, we have Niles.
Shit. Niles is probably a little scared, having just seen that. Yeah. What's he gonna do? So we're still in the tower. We've seen the Behir obviously chomp down on poor Flicker.
Yeah.
We probably don't have visual exactly of where the Behir is. So Niles is probably going to fly up a bit to try and get a bit more of an idea of where this thing is. Because he can. He may as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's going to, I'm imagining, so we're talking a bit of verticality now. Like how much further would it be to get to that next floor, or wherever approximately Flicker was eaten?
So Flicker was eaten just outside the first floor. It would not take you very much to fly up. So basically like 40 feet from the entrance to the first floor, as you emerge from the tower, which does extend backwards. This is sort of like where you are now is kind of like a crenellation on the outside of it. This is partly where that roof has collapsed, allowing you out onto this section. Flicker was eaten 40 feet, sort of like as he flew out that way.
Because I guess what I want to try and do is I want to try and ascertain whether or not. I mean, obviously the Behir must have crawled up like maybe a neighboring tower or something. I'm just trying to figure out where this thing is. So with the 40 feet of movement, I'm going to move up to this next floor. Probably just keeping being a little bit more cautious to not get also eaten by the Behir. So just before we enter into that room, I'm just going to kind of poke my head up and just see if I can see it still. And where it might be. If it's on the tower, if it's outside, just get a bit of an idea of where it might be.
As soon as you emerge up into the open, Niles, you can see the Behir almost perched like a cat across 2 of the buildings. Its long reptile body, its long snake-like body, curled around a collapsed building right at the very edge of the tower. Something's wrong, though. You can see it almost like choking as it rears back. Its lower jaw and mouth looking strangely this dull, almost like light grey blue.
Let's fucking go. Niles smiles a little bit with his beak, which might be a little harder to do. He is going to err on caution, remembering the story of not trying. He doesn't want to get too far away. He remembers the game plan. Bart's still downstairs with Conchi. So rather than launching himself into the attack, he's going to stay on a bit of the defensive, and he's going to use a key point, I believe, to do a patient defense.
Nice, very nice.
Just sort of sitting there, kind of, I guess, like having seen the Behir kind of choking on whatever it is, he will kind of use the remaining 5 feet of movement to just get onto that proper next flight at the next level, and we'll just use a patient defense.
Brilliant. Anything else on your turn, Niles?
No. I think I'll just patient defense.
Cool. Absolutely.
On that landing there.
Lyra with the natural 20 for 22. You're up next.
All right. So, weird question.
I love weird questions.
Lyra knows that the metal railway spike was, swallowed with flicker.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned that it was his throat was sort of turning that blue, so the poison sort of hit that. But the long story short is, can Lyra still see the metal railway spike, or is it all the way sort of down kind of thing, or is it sort of just sticking out the end of the mouth, Yeah,
look, good question. Do you want to make me a perception or investigation check really quickly as you sort of use your movement to rush up to the floor and look out, trying to spy the railway spike?
18.
18. As you look, there's no sign of the railway spike inside its mouth. What you can see, though, is in front of it what looks like a pile of blood and vomit as it has thrown up as a result of this poison burning through its system as an instant response to the poison.
Oh, I'm not sure if it's been fixed, but Tabs is just saying that the stream wants to see the map too.
I'm getting there. Give me a moment. I'm doing my best.
He's missing out.
I know. I'm getting there. Give me a mo. Just take me a second. I've got to get all of the individual cameras resized and repositioned because they have reset as a result of the reset I did to get the HD camera feeds across. I'm having to manually quickly fix all this stuff while I'm also still running the session. So I will be 5 more minutes at the very most, 2 more minutes most likely.
You're not missing much, Tabs. We're just on a tower at the moment, so it's all good.
Yeah, we're all standing in the same spot.
Yeah.
So as action, I'm going to try and get blindness off. Hopefully, maybe the poison's done something to his con if we're lucky. But she's going to risky biscuit it.
I will roll.
So if the Behir can do a DC 14 con.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me roll for the Behir.
So yeah.
That is a. Sorry, I rolled a dexterity check.
Is this for heat metal?
For blindness.
This is for blindness because she can't see the railway spike.
Oh, wow. That is a 16. What was the DC? 14?
Oh, 14.
Sorry, mate.
So close. All good.
Sorry, mate.
And then as bonus action, I don't think I've got anything else out that I can use it for. That's it for her. So in that case, she's just going to move into spot that's close to Bart, but not so that everyone's in a direct line with the Behir.
I respect that move.
Yeah, she's sort of gonna probably aim for about there.
I've only got Christian's camera left, and then I can show you guys the map. Brilliant. Next up in the initiative is the Behir. Never mind, I've got to pause for a second. The Behir, as you look across, those of you who have emerged on that top floor and are now looking at the Behir, I might quickly move the tokens towards the back. So we've got Flicker. At the moment, Ember, that connection you have with Flicker was severed the second the Behir slammed down its jaws. Flicker was consumed. But the good news is, you can resummon.
How much damage does that do out of interest?
I'll roll it right now for you, but I don't think Flicker can survive the bite attack. It would have.
He's feisty. You don't know.
Okay. Could Flicker have survived 23 points of damage?
Yes, he could have.
I take it back. Flicker is currently coated in vomit underneath the Behir's mouth, having been vomited up with the rest of the goods, as it were, as the Behir vomited up the poison that it was being affected with. The Behir is looking really worse for it. You can hear it sort of choking and coughing as it calls out in Draconic. What is this? It bats! It bats! As it screams. It is then going to let out a wild blast of lightning towards the building itself. It's not targeting any one of you exactly, just targeting the entrance to the building. As the lightning breath goes off, I'm not going to have any of you make a dex save because you're currently inside the building. Oh, yeah. Simon, look at you, something fun.
I was just going to ask.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know that it's not being targeted at Flicker necessarily, but he is in his mouth. Am I?
Oh, he's sort
I
of.
was gonna think about...
He's not still in the mouth. He's sort of been thrown up at the moment as a result of the Behir vomiting up its stomach contents. So, so Flicker's still got the railway spike. Actually, Flicker's there, like clutching the railway spike, looking a bit dazed, having picked it up off the ground. Yeah, Flicker's not having fun.
That's okay. I was just looking at one of my spells to see if it would help, but I don't think it will help. It will just end up killing Flicker and not doing anything. So, sorry, carry on.
No, that's all good. As the Behir lets out this blast of lightning, it's going to slam into the top of the tower. There's this momentary shuddering, and then you feel this rumbling through the tower as one of the upper floors drops through, smashing into the floor above you. Everyone who is currently in the tower...
I'm standing in the middle.
Everyone who is currently in the tower, I need you to all make me a dexterity saving throw, please, as rubble begins to rain down from the ceiling.
Which I get advantage on because of my thing.
Exactly.
I get advantage too because this is danger sense, I guess. I can see it.
Yeah, you've got you know there's danger about. You can sense the danger.
All of you are going to get a +4 other than the
because of the
yeah.
Ooh, cool. So I'm 18 then if it's +4.
That's a 19 then for me.
And that one gives up to 7 +4 is 11.
Oh shit! That's not good.
My boy, my sweet summer child. It's been good having you.
Why is it always Harry?
It's always Harry. It is always Harry. It is always Harry, isn't it?
Every single time.
It's pretty funny. The good news is I can now bring the map across. The map! Amazing. We have the map. It's the map. It's the map. And Harry is dead. No, so as... Yeah, sorry, Harry. You go.
Soon.
I can roll and add... I can use my... I can add 4... I can roll a d4. It's not worth it.
I mean, 1 is a 1, right?
So for our deck saves, we've got Threign on 14. That's a pass. 15's a save for Niles. 18's a save for Ember. 16's a save for Lyra. Oh, Bartholomew.
Yeah. The 8 is me, and then technically it's a 10 for Kong-Chi, but I know that's also a fail. Also, Threin's an 18. They're all +4, remember?
Yeah, that's incredible.
Sure.
I
get to find out if I fail before choosing to roll a d4 for my reaction.
Harry, you fail.
I'm 11 with the
That's still a fail.
You could theoretically do it. Oh,
Harry, that is now a pass with a +2.
Oh, let's go!
That is the DC that you needed to pass this.
I thought it was going to be 15. Oh, man.
13's the magic number for this roll. Harry, that's a pass. So that is going to be... it's just going to be Bart and Kong-Chi, unfortunately, who are taking this damage. The two of you are going to take... right here. All right, the two of you are going to take 12 points of damage each, and you are knocked prone. The rest of you are only going to take 6 points of damage, and you are not knocked prone as rubble begins to rain. Yes.
I know this is a saving throw on rubble and stuff, but
yeah,
am I allowed to use my reaction for fighting a deception and remove some of that damage from Kong-Chi?
Yeah, I would argue that if you're like using your blade to deflect the falling rubble, or you're like using your own body to yeah, I'd argue that makes sense. Absolutely.
I have 10 temporary hit points. Are they still valid, Owen?
Yeah, you guys got an inspiring leader from Bartholomew's battle plan. That counted as an inspiring leader.
Okay,
definitely.
Cool.
Definitely.
Okay, so how much was the damage in total?
So 12 damage.
Okay, I'll take 12, and then Kong-Chi will actually take nothing. There's like one big rock that was about to fall on Kong-Chi's head or smash through it before I get smashed.
You just take it like a champ. As the rubble rains down, you watch as the two Sverniblin duck for cover. Noose, an older, less mobile, less dexterous Sverniblin, taking a heavy blow to his head as a chunk of rock smashes into the side of his head, knocking him prone and sprawling him out as Gook ducks and weaves underneath him, only taking a few sort of bruises and contusions before she goes, "Noose!" and then rushes over, desperately trying to save him. The Behir is then going to thrash about wildly. You can see that it is trying to get rid of this poison. It has taken a fair bit of damage as it smashes over, dropping off the roof that it was currently standing on and almost sliding back on itself onto the ground before thrashing through and smashing a section of this house here, causing it to collapse down partly onto its tail. Ember, it is your turn next.
Perfect. So I'm assuming that Flicker can see the railroad spike from where he is at the moment.
Flicker's
He's much
picked it up
closer
off
to
the
him.
ground and is holding it and looking at it and then like waving to you from below. Flicker, Flicker, Flicker.
So Flicker's. I mean, I was hoping that he would have been able to lodge it into his mouth when he was getting bitten, but what he'd probably do is fly back up towards the Bahir. I can't see him on the map at the moment, unfortunately. But
Oh, because
get
you're
right
on a
in-
dark. Have I given you? Is it a dark vision issue? Let me quickly pull open.
Is he on
Yeah, I
the
think.
map?
You've got vision. What I'll do. Here you go, I'll turn.
That's
I'll
just because
turn
I
it-
can't. Yeah, it's probably centered on my character one, not Flicker's one. So
It's okay. I'll give you
Anywho.
Flickers. Let me bring Flicker in, and I'll give you sight of Flicker, and then you'll be able to see exactly what's going on. Let me bring Flicker. There you go. And then if you put Flicker here, how's that?
I still can't see him. It's in the dark, but
How about now?
I mean, I'm hoping.
I can see him.
How about now?
Yep, now I can.
Hey,
Perfect.
there we go.
Perfect. So what I'd get him to do, pick up that railroad spike. He's going to fly up, go towards the Bahir's mouth, and he's going to just throw the railroad spike into his mouth.
Fantastic. Do you want to make me a... I'm happy to use this as like a ranged attack for Flicker, which is the Flame Seed. I'm happy to use the Flame Seed, the roll, and
Yeah.
I'm happy to do that.
Sure thing.
Natural
So,
20 for a con save for Bartholomew.
Oh, that was
that's
concentration
damage. Apologies.
for the locate object.
Keeping that body safely in mind. The map is aligned north, south, east, west. So north is exactly where the body is up on this map.
Okay.
Just to make
It's
life
not
easy.
letting me do my range.
That's okay. If you just roll a d20
Right.
and then add Flicker's dex, that is the same thing.
Perfect. Perfect. So. Oh, that's a 5 plus 2, so a 7.
You watch as Flicker flies up, throws the spike. The spike moves about like 6 foot and then just drops down and clatters uselessly on the ground below as Flicker looks down, looks up, shrugs, and then looks back at you, Ember.
Damn.
To be fair,
okay,
Flicker rules as written can't carry things anyway, so it's pretty spot
really?
on.
He can't even
Because he's a
fair
little
enough.
spirit. But I'm happy because we've kind of been moving Flicker more into the zone of a familiar. I've kind of merged Flicker with a familiar for you because you do also have access to the spell Find Familiar. So we've kind of turned Flicker into a hybrid fire spirit familiar for you, just for the entertainment factor of it and for the roleplay purposes, so that it's an actual creature you care about.
Perfect. Well, since he's done that, I'm just going to use him. He's right in front of the creature. He's going to cast. Well, assuming that I could use that as a bonus action, I'll cast Produce Flame, and he's going to throw a giant flame ball at him.
Do you have Produce Flame as a cantrip, as a bonus
A
action?
cantrip, yeah.
As a
sorry,
bonus
that's what I was going to say. I don't know if the throwing this spike.
I'd allow the throwing of the spike as a bonus action. Yeah, I'd allow that. So let's
Okay,
have the produce flame. Produce flame.
It's a 13 anyway.
13. As the you watch as this like fireball Flicker like summons this Kamehameha little fireball and throws it out, and it just strikes against the Bahir's scales, leaving behind a tiny little soot patch and nothing else.
Fantastic. He's seen that, and I mean, I don't know how much movement he had to use there, but he'll use maybe another 5 or 10 feet just to try and fly a little bit further away.
Yeah. The Bahir does not make an attack of opportunity against Flicker, not even seeming to notice Flicker at this point while it's concentrating on the pain and damage that it's taking from the poison. Harry. You probably should have been before Ember, actually, because your dex is higher, so I'll fix that up in the initiative for the next round. But Harry.
Is there an adjacent building that Harry can like leap out of a window and like relocate to?
Of course, Harry.
Yeah, I mean, you can see as you look across the as you look across the gap, you can see there's the partially collapsed building that's giving you the ramp down towards ground floor is part of a building. You can move on to that building. The roof's only partially collapsed. There's a whole section of roof above it, which is completely fine.
Yeah, I can almost hide in the back half of that.
Yeah,
roof, right?
yeah. There's even a chimney rising up that you could duck behind and safely squirrel yourself away.
Harry's gonna leap out the window and try to get on the rooftop there and hide a bit and conceal himself. Is that here on the map? Just up north?
I think
so
the chimney is this spot just here.
chimney
isn't
you can see just there behind
Yeah.
the lip of the roof, the section that's not fully collapsed. Produce phlegm.
Because Harry was below, or like away from the other guys before, right? He wasn't.
Yeah, so I'd say it's probably like, because you were probably a couple of feet back from them, a fair little bit back, because you were looking up through the gap in the ceiling. So to rush up to the people and then up the stairs is going to cost you about 40 feet of movement. So this is probably going to be
Can I get there without having to go up through the room?
no, because that's the next floor above. You're currently on the ground floor underneath.
Okay. Harry will just go as close to the window as he can to jump out without actually jumping out this turn.
Yeah, easy.
Can you see the Behir from?
Yeah. As you get to this whole section of wall here where you guys are standing is collapsed inwards. This is a section of roof that's collapsed through the tower wall and is now creating this open space. You can see the Behir smashing through buildings on the other side. Really looking not very happy.
Harry's gonna Eldritch Blast.
Fantastic.
The Behir. Am I still hidden?
You are still hidden. The Behir does not know you are there. 19
That's
definitely
okay.
hits.
On the first one.
10 points of
I'll
force
roll again
damage.
in case the 19 played the 19. It only shot once, right?
The second one was an 11.
Oh, the first one. This rolled advantage because I was hidden, right? So that's why I rolled.
Oh,
twice,
yeah. So yeah, that's correct. Yeah, because you got advantage. So the first one, 19, 11,
That's
19
the
hits,
shot.
deals 10 damage. So yeah, you got another shot you can make. Absolutely. 10 and...
Oh, I forgot the cast hacks. Well, I'll do that after. Okay. Right.
I got what
Since
you...
I forgot the cast hacks,
Yeah,
then I'll just use my bonus action to jump out the window. Then.
sure.
action dash.
Did you want to roll... Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. So just, yeah, absolutely. So use your bonus action to do your dash, jump out the window, make a dash for the chimney. Absolutely.
Not quite the chimney, but the back half of the roof. So like,
Yeah.
I imagine this roof here is like leaning back, so he's like skulking behind.
Yeah,
I didn't bonus
absolutely.
action hide, but I guess that's a bit of cover in a sort of way.
Yeah, 100%. I'll move the turtles over there so we can see the whole map. Perfect. Absolutely. Anything else on your turn, Harry?
That's all I can do.
Bartholomew and Threign. Who has the higher dex out of the two of you?
10.
My dex is 14.
In that case, Threign, it is your turn next.
Perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at everyone and go, well, this is where the fun begins for me. A big smile crosses his face as he just 5, 10 steps out, 15, 20, 25, 30. How much movement have I got? 40 feet. I'm going to go to here. Oh, hold on. I will go here. I challenge you. Come, fight. Let's just see how this goes, hey? This will be fun. And then I let out I grab my axe. And then I sort of suck in the breath around me. And then I let out this bellowing, shout. This challenge as I rage.
As Threign rages, are you choosing to grow in size?
Yes.
As Threign rages
I
and
do
begins...
step out of the tower, though.
Yeah, no, I figured. As Threign rages, stepping out onto this collapsed roof and begins raging, you watch as he begins growing in size. This time, his axe grows in size with him. The metal shifting and changing, ice already forming across the hilt as it becomes a +1 weapon while you are raging, Threign.
Whoa! Hell yes.
While you are raging with the Frostcarver axe, as a descendant of the Frostcarver clan, you can unlock the axe's power. It is a +1 weapon in your hands at this point. If you were to achieve other certain things with the axe, perhaps even reunite it with its original handle and hilt, could be some other fun things for you there too.
Ooh.
Side
Nice.
quest just pops up in Threign's logbook.
Yeah, side quests. It's like it's like playing like an Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
That's what I'm aiming
Cool.
for. As you grow in size, taking on your giant-like form, your axe growing in your hands, Threign, you feel power course through your veins, cold and snow your domain, empowering
As
you.
I'm on
filling-
as I'm top of the roof and I'm standing in my new sort of more giant form, this energy, this blizzard will start coalescing around my axe. It will start swirling around the axe, and then I'll sort of hold it back, the axe, and then just with this, all the momentum and force, I just heave it as hard as I can directly at the Bahia, doing a ranged attack.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to be imbuing this with the Frost Strike.
Yes.
Because I can actually do this on a melee weapon attack or a ranged weapon attack using a thrown weapon.
Perfect.
And I can imbue the attack. So I'm going to also add in an extra Frost Strike. But that we'll see if I hit first, I guess. Actually,
That's a good idea.
Let's pretend when you hit a target. Okay.
We should also say, Jared, remember you do also get a birthday inspiration because it was your birthday while we were away. It was your birthday over the weekend.
That's
so
true.
this is your
Sunday.
Exactly, only a few days ago. So this is your birthday. If you needed your birthday inspiration, it is there for you.
There. Perfect. Let's see if I hit first. All right. 20 to hit.
Unnatural. That'll do. Unnatural 20. That'll do, son.
Perfect.
13 slashing. Would you like to roll me some cold damage as well?
Yep.
Oh, huge damage.
Only one, unfortunately, but that's fine. So that's 14. So 13 slashing, one cold.
Yep.
But it does need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Also, is the 13 automatically adding in the plus of your rage?
It's adding a plus
probably
5.
not,
Is that adding your rage?
No, that's not adding my rage. So it'd be more. So it'd be like
an extra 2 damage for the rage.
I think it's an extra 2 at the moment.
16 altogether.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it is.
I'll add that extra 2 in right now. Constitution save. I will do that right now. The Bahir's pretty constitutional. It's got an 18 constitution. Not that it matters when I roll the 3. That's a 7 total.
Oh! So that immediately means its movement is reduced to 0.
0.
Its speed is reduced to 0 until the start of my next turn.
Wow! What the heck?
Thank you, Threign.
That's perfect.
Okay, I guess this is a good question. I've never really held that. This effects never went off. Every time I've ever rolled it, you've always passed it.
And now the most constitutional monster you've faced, I've rolled really poorly on the con save. To be fair though, it's rolled like 3 con saves tonight, and it's passed 2 of them, so it's only fair it fails the 3rd.
I would like to think as the axe swirls through the air and it's gathering all this blizzard energy, it buries into the Bahia, and from where the axe hits, this frost, these ice crystals start just erupting from it and just completely sort of almost engulf the Bahia for a second. I don't know how much it takes up, but it does. That's how it restricts its movement.
Yeah, I had this image in my mind of like the axe as it carves through the air. It freezes the ground behind it, leaving this like trail of ice which grows across the ground and like slams into the feet, like growing across them. But I love yours more. The idea that the ice is actually bound to the axe itself, and as soon as it strikes, this like line of ice grows almost like a tree root straight down towards the ground, pinning this creature with this line of ice, like a discharge of electricity grounding itself. I really like that. That's cool. That's really cool.
Awesome.
That's sick.
Now, am I on? So I'm on a rooftop. How many movement would it take for me to jump down?
Oh, to jump down? Like you're only gonna move.
I see there's like a rooftop here.
Yeah, you're only 1 story up, so it's like at this point in a Svirfnibelin city, even a city stronghold like this, you're only 8 feet off the ground. I mean, you could. How tall are you when you're in giant form? You're like.
Oh, so normally.
Yeah, normally you're like 8 feet.
8'5".
Yeah.
So I'm 17 foot tall. Right
you just step off the roof. Not even, just step down.
Perfect. I'm gonna go here.
Next to Flicker. Flicker looks at you and waves.
So if I go here, so that's 5 foot range, right?
Yep.
But if I go here, that's 10 foot range.
Yes.
Technically.
As you stay back, keeping a bit of distance.
Well, this is the thing. Like, I don't need to like barrel into it like one-on-one. Like, I can just stay where I am and just do my attacks. So I'm gonna have the ice will stay in place, but then the axe will disappear for a sec as it becomes that sort of blizzard, sort of like gale wind, sort of as it becomes that wind again with the blizzard, sort of like the frost through it, and it reappears in my hand. And now that I'm a bit closer, I'm going to do a second attack this time, but hitting at close range. But 10 feet, because the giant stature sort of barbarian stuff allows me to have 10 foot reach instead of 5.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
an extra 5. So I can just stay out of its 5 foot range. I don't know, obviously, if it has any other attacks. Like it probably can hit me, but that's all right. That's no issues. So I'm going to do my last attack.
If anything, Threign, it's a mark of honor for enemies to bloody each other at the beginning of combat to test their resolve and then have the fight occur.
Sure.
Right?
All right, so I'm going to do reckless attack. Lucky I did, because...
So reckless attack is when you make your first attack on your turn, just so you know.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, when you make your first attack on your turn, you can start to attack recklessly, giving you advantage on melee attack rolls using strength.
Yeah, I didn't know if the reckless attack worked with my range attacks. So
No, reckless is for melee specifically.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Let me have a look at the reckless real quick. Yeah, when you make your first attack on your turn, you did. Yeah, you are right.
Unfortunately, I know I've been caught up on that before. It's a weird wording. I don't know why it's specific for that, but it is specific. And I was thinking through, like, it does kind of make sense because it means you can't do cheeky stuff with hexes and.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
You'd still be able to keep the 21 if you use the birthday inspo.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm going to keep it because I feel like the inspo would probably be better on like a saving throw or something.
So a natural 1 for the attack as you go to strike this thing, Threign. Its movements are so jerky, so sudden as it writhes from the poison. You try to slam down this overhead strike. The Bahir just moves its serpent-like body out of the way. Your axe striking the ground, unable to cleave into flesh.
No problem.
Alrighty.
My bonus action's done. Yeah, I'm all good, thanks.
Bartholomew, it is your turn, Bartholomew.
Okay. This is good, everyone. The plan is working. I've already seen multiple people doing what they're like. We're trying to here to help out as much as we can, which is awesome. And the fact that it has 0 feet of movement at the moment is exactly what we wanted. I am prone, so I'm going to use half movement to stand up.
That's why I was laughing. I'm imagining you doing this inspiring call. Like, yeah, keep it up, guys. You're like prone to the ground. Like,
the plan is working flawlessly.
Working perfectly.
Like, I climb up.
Well done,
imagining
team.
This isn't me climbing up, but it's Kong Chi picking me up because I'm going to use half movement to stand up and then also half movement to mount Kong Chi. So I've got no movement left.
Yep.
Kong Chi is then going to carry me Kong Chi's distance.
Chuck Kong Chi onto the map, hey, sorry.
50 feet of movement. So
oh, wow.
We're going to go just... well, actually, we can start to cut it off a bit, yeah.
Chuck Kong Chi's token down for you too.
Could you increase Kong Chi to a large when you get a moment?
Give me a sec. It's just taking a moment to drop in.
No, that's okay. Just double checking.
That Aussie instant is not helping us very much.
I don't seem to have control, but if Kong Chi could be just there,
you won't yet. Yeah, give me a sec.
Oh, sorry.
I literally, like, Roll20 has the token open and it's blank and I can't click on any boxes. Oh. So it's going to take a hot second. Roll20's struggling, I think. It'll be there in a mo. In the meantime, what else would you like to do?
So, there's going to be stuff happening as I'm making my way there, and that's going to be the action. I don't think I have too many options for a bonus action. The action's the big thing today. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, no, this is just the action. Okay. As I start mounting up, I'm going to start calling out, speaking in Draconic. Bend. A Bahir, I've heard of better. Bend. At least dragons fought against the giant gateways. Bend. And with the final one, I'm going to use I think it's commands on the final one. I'm hoping as well, whether you'll allow any sort of like a roll, maybe the bonus action, whatever you'd like to DM. If not, that's fine. I just like the roleplay here. But the idea in Bartholomew's mind is he has to follow the spell and do what it says, but he's still able to talk. He's still able to be conscious. I'm trying to draw him into, if we're not going to get the conversation, maybe I can make him pissed off enough that his tongue slips about stuff that he knows by bringing up these memories.
Yeah.
And that final bend is going to be filled with a surge of light and spectral feathers for my second last first level spell slot. And can I get a
wisdom
saving throw?
Roll it right now. Oh, 15. That is a fail.
Charisma Paladin, baby.
That is a fail.
On the start of his next turn, I was saying bend, but I'm using it as the same sort of ruling, as long as you're happy, as grovel. So, targeting the target on the start of their next turn falls prone and then instantly ends its turn.
Brilliant. You watch as the Behir twists towards you, the lower jaw moving almost sluggishly, the tongue, this like grey mass in its mouth, as it fixes these almost glowing blue eyes on you, electricity crackling across its maw as it looks down at you. You dare! As it slowly begins to bend over, facing you, rage written across its face.
Lovely. Now, only Niles could understand that as far as I'm aware, so just so that everyone else is on the ball, I'm just going to shout out, "Hold it down now!" And that's going to be my turn. Kong-Chi is going to see if, I guess, it's already got 0 feet of movement, but Kong-Chi is going to give a go at trying to knock this thing prone. As Kong-Chi runs past, it's going to slam its horns into a couple of the legs on the right side of it, because it does have a chance of knocking creatures prone, despite this thing being 4 times the size of Kong-Chi.
It's a huge monstrosity.
Yeah, this thing, it's like a wolf attack. It just says, it doesn't say creature type, they just make a saving throw. Yeah. So it's a 21 to hit. It deals 8 points of bludgeoning damage, which ain't bad. And can this thing make a strength save to not fall prone ahead of my command spell?
Yes, it can. That's going to be a 26.
Yeah,
that's a natural 20, by the way. 26.
Some of the aberrationally made dragon scales that this thing has, and tears a couple of them off. And that's my turn.
Alrighty, we'll jump to Noose and Gook, and then we will wrap up for tonight. As you watch, Gook rushes over, pulling the rubble off Noose, trying to get him up. As he slowly sits up coughing, you can see there's a large gash, those of you still inside the building, a large gash across his forehead, slowly leaking blood that drips into his right eye. As Noose kind of shakes him, he looks up and goes, The gunpowder, lass. Black powder. Storehouse. You're gonna have to get it. Going to have to get it now, lass. Run really quickly. You watch as Gook, tears in her eyes, nods, slowly lies him back down, and takes off at a run. As she sprints through the lower sections of the floors, you lose sight of her as she ducks into a hidden passage at the back of the tower. And that is where we are going to wrap up for tonight.
Whoa.
Let me bring us back to the webcams. Perfect. That is where we'll wrap up for tonight, but we will be back next week for the continuation and hopefully conclusion of this epic fight against a brutal foe. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. It's been wonderful having you all here again, and I must say, it's really nice having the full party back together. Really, really good to have you back, Jared.
Thanks. It's good to be back.
It's good to have you back. We are going to, for those of you watching on Twitch, we're going to go raid one of our lovely friends of the channel. I'll quickly see who's online. But for those of you who watch us on YouTube or listen to us on the podcast, first of all, thank you so much. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, give it a like, comment, whatever you want to do. It all helps us out. And the more you can help us out with this, the more good content I can bring you, or I guess whatever this counts for as passable content. So have a lovely evening. For those of you who join us for the Avatar Legends session, we will see you for our Legacy of Kyoshi campaign tomorrow night. For the rest of you, stay safe, stay well, and we will see you guys all again very, very soon. Until then, everybody, goodbye. Farewell!
Catch you later!
Bye.
See you later, guys! Mwah.
Thank you.